Hello and welcome to the sixth grade math curriculum information for Standard Plus sixth grade math. On this slide, you'll see the sixth grade math teachers. So we have Miss Collum on the Sea Turtle team, Miss Singletary on the OUT team, Miss Paul on the OUT and Cheetah team, Mr. Harbin on the Cheetah team, and lastly, Miss Sterling and Mr. Loudon, who are on the Panda team. Talking with you today is Mr. Loudon, and I will be going through the expectations and guidelines for Standard Plus, as well as everything we'll be learning throughout the year. So communication, the best way to communicate with your student's teacher is by email. That is probably your best option. Other than email, you got the teacher websites, which can be found on the Bailey homepage under faculty and staff, quarterly newsletters via email, daily through your students' agendas, and progress reports for halfway through the quarter, and report cards at the end of the quarter. So organization is key when it comes to math. All students are required to have a math notebook. They are responsible for maintaining their math notebook, and this should be a notebook/binder used only for math. So if you have a math notebook, please do not combine your math with your science or your math with your ELA. One notebook, all about math. So IXL, students will use IXL to practice math skills. Every quarter we have an IXL contract. And the first one we have will be due November 9th. But in the IXL contract, it relates to all the curriculum and all the topics we've been talking about in the quarter, and students answer questions relating to those topics. Username and password should be in the student agenda. I realize that some students have had an IXL account in the past, but this year we have a Bailey account. And every student received the Bailey account last week, and they all should have their username and password. Again, should be written in the student agenda. CASA Learning. To access CASA Learning, you're going to go through NCA Cloud and click the Clever application. Once you've clicked the Clever application, it'll bring you to a screen where you'll see CASA Learning. All you got to do is click on that and you'll access the site. Students may have weekly homework assignments on CASA Learning pertaining to the topics covered during the week. Mr. Loud and Mr. Harbin like to do CASA Learning weekly. Miss Singletary, Miss Collum, Miss Paul, Miss Sterling have a little bit of a different approach to that. So Math 6, Standard Plus, Quarter 1. We are talking about multiplication and division using the standard algorithm. We're talking about exponents, order of operations, factors, prime factorization. Next week, we'll get into the greatest common factor and least common multiple using methods list, tic-tac-toe, and prime factorization to solve. Unit 3, we introduce integers, and we practice adding and subtracting integers up to -20 using number lines and chips. For Unit 4, at the end of the first quarter, we translate algebraic expressions, use the distributive property to simplify expressions and equations, and factor algebraic expressions. Quarter 2, we focus on translating phrases into inequalities, graphing all solutions to inequalities on the number line, multiplying and dividing fractions, solving algebraic equations involving fractions. We add and subtract decimals, we multiply, we divide decimals. We solve algebraic equations with decimals. We convert between fractions, decimals, and percents, and then we simplify ratios and write and solve proportions. Moving on to Quarter 3, we find the percent of a number. We solve other percent problems with missing parts and wholes. We add and subtract fractions with unlike denominators. We're then going to focus on plotting points on a 4-quadrant coordinate plane, and on that coordinate plane, we are going to find the perimeter of 2D shapes, find the area of rectangles, squares, triangles, trapezoids, and other composite shapes. We'll find the area of shapes on a coordinate plane, as well as surface area of 3D shapes like rectangular prism, triangular prism, and pyramids. And then we're going to wrap up by finding the volume of rectangular prisms and cubes. Lastly, Quarter 4, we find the mean, median, mode, and range of a set of data. We like to create and analyze a box and whisker plot, as well as histograms and line plots. So Quarter 4 deals entirely with statistics. And lastly, Unit 16, the last unit we review for the EOG, basically summarizing and reviewing everything we learned throughout the year. Thank you, that is it. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact the teachers listed on the second slide, or you may go to their website, which again is located on the Bailey homepage under faculty and staff. Thank you.